Getting started soon. Toss any cool links into the Discord.
Oh, hi. Hello. How you doing? My name is Waldo, and I am here to feel the politics with you. How is everybody today? If you're in chat, hop into chat and tell Shinsinto happy birthday. Today is his birthday. I always remember it because it's the day after Valentine's Day. That's how I remember it, and so that makes it true. Everyone, feel free to tell him a happy birthday today because today is his birthday, and that's fun and exciting. I've been secretly trying to gaslight him into thinking his birthday is on a different day. I think it's finally working, and I need your help. Thank you. So everybody tell him today, the day after that Valentine's Day, is definitely his birthday, and it always has been. See, KBP agrees with me about what day you were born. See, Trader Todd agrees with me that today is your birthday, Shinsinto. It must be true. How is everybody today? Thanks for coming in. Hop in the chat. Tell us what you're thinking. Tell us what you're feeling. If you got any cool links, throw them into the Discord. The link is right there. There's the Discord link right there. Go on over there. Tell us what you're thinking. Tell us what you're feeling. Give me a link to talk about the news. We'll bring it up on the screen. We'll fill it all out together. It'll be interactive. It'll be a good time. Today is Saturday, so I've got a couple of stories to talk about today. God bless America. Thanks for coming in, saying hello. I appreciate you. As a first-time chatter, thanks for coming in. I've got a couple of things to talk about today, and then what do we got? We got some Trump being crazy, some Elon being crazy, some J.D. Vance going on a weird Nazi tour. That's weird. Why would he do that? And then we're going to rant at the end of the stream today about AOC and the DOJ. So that'll be a good time. Valor, thanks for coming in. Oh, shit. Did Waldo get older? Well, I mean, since the last time you saw me, yes, technically, by a few days. Everybody gets older. I mean, I'm going to be older tomorrow, too. So that's just kind of how the time dimension works. I do reside within the... Oh, no, not for me. It's for Shinsinto. It's today, Valor. Today, the day after Valentine's Day, is Shinsinto's birthday. So you should tell him. He's a very prominent chatter. He's a very important guy. Tell him that today is his birthday and that happy birthday. That makes it canon. It's now stream lore that Shinsinto's birthday is the day after Valentine's Day. That's how we all remember it, you see. So let's look at the news. What is going on in the politics? Congrats on waiting a year. Yeah. Yeah. Tell I hate birthdays. Yeah, there aren't any dogs in and around here right now. But if we get visited by a puppy dog, I will grab them. I will bring them up, and we'll put them up on screen. It'll be a good time. They bless us with their presence every now and then. If they come up here, I'll grab one. Traceable, you support Nazi? No, I'm not. So we're going to complain about them today. Let's get started with the politics. What are we starting with? Oh, so this is some good news, maybe silly news. Suspected Doge impersonators stormed San Francisco City Hall, school district building. So some fake Doge impersonators came in. 3 men wearing MAGA hats, Department of Government Efficiency t-shirts, and fake badges stormed several offices inside San Francisco City Hall and a nearby school district building on Friday, demanding that workers hand over sensitive documents. At about noon on Friday, Sheriff's Office Director of Communications Tara Moriarty told the Chronicle that 3 men stormed into City Hall demanding that workers turn over digital information related to alleged wasteful government spending and fraud. Doge is the extra... Well, we know what Doge is. What did Moriarty? Moriarty said City Hall workers refused the intruder's request and called sheriff's deputies, at which time the individuals fled the building. Moriarty said the sheriff's office doesn't believe that the individuals were actually representatives from Doge. So fake Doge members. Then about 12:40 p.m., the San Francisco United School District worker who works in the administrative building at 135 Van Ness Avenue said that the 3 men matching the description of the City Hall intruders walked inside the former school making similar demands. Walked inside what's a former school? It used to be a school? The worker, who spoke on the condition of anonymity because they're not authorized to speak to the media, said the 3 men stunned school district workers when they got past security and started walking up and down the hallways being rowdy. That's not good. I don't love the idea of random goobers wandering around a school. That sounds like a bad idea. But they were harassing random people. The worker said that 3 men freely walked through the building while videotaping workers on their phones before leaving 10 minutes later. She described them as young guys in their 20s who were intentionally trying to provoke people. One of them had a badge with an expletive on it. Okay, badges with dirty words. Okay. They came in saying, "We are Doge. What are you doing?" The employee said they told one woman that she'd be fired by Monday. I thought it was strange, but some other people might have been afraid. That's weird, and I don't like it. That is a slightly funny story. I'm glad they didn't get into City Hall, but they shouldn't be getting past security at a school. That's a public audit traceable. No, it's not. You don't just randomly get to go into any place that you want and start demanding to see private records. That's dumb. It's not legal. Can I get your opinion on Trump promoting crypto and letting Elon Musk take reins in being a little sidekick like superhero movie? It's oligarchy, fascism, and a bad idea. Crypto is a scam 100% of the time. 100%. Cryptocurrency is a scam. All of it. Every last one of them. Bitcoin, scam. The blockchain itself is a tool that you could use for things, but if you're using that tool for currency, it's a scam. Being a little sidekick. Yeah, Elon Musk is just going to steal from you. He's going to steal from the American people. He's going to steal. He's going to take everything that isn't nailed down. And then he's going to complain when the government starts to nail things down. So why is Trump promoting? Because he's a scammer, traceable. You see, he is a scammer. They got bullied by the children. I would hope so. I'd hope the kids would clown on him a little bit. That would be fun. Does he know it's a scam? He does. He's a scammer. So yes, because Trump is a con man. Exactly. Donald Trump is a con man. He loves scams. He sells nothing. He sells ideas. And then when the ideas fall apart, he runs away. He is a snake oil salesman who lies to get money from dumb people. And if you get really good at that, apparently, you can bring in other scammers like Elon. Elon, also a scammer, steals money from dumb people. Mark Zuckerberg, scammer, steals money from dumb people. There's just a lot of them, and they're on top of the scam game, you see. So they start to hang out together. Do you have a side, or are you in the middle? No, I'm a leftist for sure, 100%. Move left. Traceable. I'm not even gonna hide this. I want you to move left. I'm not hiding it. I'm not gonna slowly. I'm not even gonna try to trick you. Move left. If you like freedom, if you like your rights, human rights, freedom, and democracy, move left. And I don't apologize for saying things like that. So everything I'm saying is from my leftist perspective. Feel free to disagree with me. Feel free to argue with me. Feel free to go into the Discord there and disagree. That is okay. That's entirely okay. What if both sides had something wrong with them? They do have some problems. And I will feel free to point out the problems of the left, and I'll try and make them better. I'll try and make them slightly less of a problem. I won't hide them. I won't hide them or anything like that. There are things that the left can do wrong. So, funny news, fun times. Maybe there's a better way. Centrism? You're not going to say centrism, are you? I hope not. Than arguing left or right. Politics used to be very simple. You put it in D to go forward, and you put it in R to go backward. You do need some backward-facing ideology, but don't harp on it. Conservatism, right-wing republicanism, is a backward-facing ideology. And because you sometimes do need to go backward, sometimes you get lost, you go too far, you have to turn around and come back. You need a backward perspective, which is fine, but you can't drive a stagecoach into the future, which is what I think the conservatives really want to do. Our left, right, peace, inhumanity. Politics is just a virus. No, politics is how we organize the people. Politics is how we organize people. Peace is the left's ultimate goal. I would say freedom is the left's ultimate goal, but sometimes that leads to unpeaceful situations. But if you have a good society with good rules and good laws, you can mitigate the damage caused by freedom. And that's difficult. So it is a never-ending process. What if both sides wanted good in the end? Well, it depends on how you get there and what good it is and how it ends up. I suspect that, and this is the last thing I'll say before I move on to the next segment. I suspect that the right is going to lead us towards Mad Max, and the left is going to lead us to Star Trek. So think on that. What else do we have to talk about today? Here we go. Trump-Musk scandal in U.S. aid takes unnerving turn with vile leaked memo. Can Trump and his top advisors really just act with total impunity, or is there just maybe a price to be paid for the starving poor people and unindicting a corrupt mayor? So I think that, well, that's a good picture. We should show this picture at every chance we can. So let's look at, there was one important thing. This is TNR. This is the New Republic. They're very left-wing and very anti-Trump. But the important bit I wanted to read from this story was what the memo actually claims. The memo claims to be correcting a false narrative in the press about the disruptions to that assistance. It notes that Secretary of State Marco Rubio last month issued a waiver to life-saving humanitarian assistance, allowing it to continue despite the Trump-Musk freeze in the agency spending. This has meant that the assistance has continued uninterrupted and has never paused. So according to Elon and Marco Rubio, they continued uninterrupted and has never paused. That's not true. This is highly disingenuous at best and mostly nonsensical at worst. The New York Times reports that senior U.S. aid officials recently received an email explicitly directing them to hold off on approving some of this assistance pending more directives from on high. What's more, according to the Times, while some of the assistance did continue due to Rubio's waiver, much of it has encountered serious obstacles. They are pumping out memos that say we didn't do a pause, continued uninterrupted. But the reality, it has been interrupted. These guys don't know what they're doing. They are chaotic and uncoordinated. Chaos and uncoordination is how you don't want your government to work. You want government to move slowly, because if they move too fast, they fuck up. If they move too fast, they fire people who ought not be fired. They get rid of the experts willy-nilly, and chaos follows. How about we look at this right here? Trump firings cause chaos at agency responsible for America's nuclear weapons. You know, what I really enjoy is loose nukes. I think we should really be loose and crazy with those things. Just juggle them, fling them around anywhere. Who cares? They're not important. What could possibly go wrong if the people responsible for the nuclear weapons all just get canned for no reason? This is why you want your government to move slowly and carefully. If you don't, this happens. Scenes of confusion and chaos unfolded over the last 2 days at the civilian agency that oversees the nation's nuclear weapon stockpile, as the Trump administration mass firings were carried out before being paused on Friday. So tell everybody how awful they are, fire them, oh God, we needed them, oh no, what did we do? Pause the firings and cancel the plans that you made yesterday. When your government doesn't move slowly, carefully, methodically, you get chaos, you get people fired and then unfired and then refired and then memos that come out a week later telling you that you are fired. No one knows. This account of firings at the National Nuclear Security Administration is based on interviews with several current and former NNSA employees who remained anonymous, fearing retribution from the Trump administration. So they can't even tell you what's going on because they fear that he will kick them out. Officials were given hours to fire hundreds of employees, and workers were shut out of email as termination notices arrived. The terminations were part of a broader group of dismissals from the Department of Energy, where reportedly more than 1,000 federal workers were terminated. It was all a result of Elon Musk's Doge to slash the federal workforce and what Musk and President Trump characterize as excessive government spending. They don't know what's going on. Everything seems like a conspiracy if you don't understand it. That's where we are. Traceable. Everything is a psyop according to me. Haha. Because you don't understand what's happening. Everything seems like a psyop. Everything seems like a conspiracy. If you're dumb. When you become better educated, when you start learning, when you start investigating, when you start actually looking at the things that are going on, these employees are doing important things, like being responsible for America's nuclear weapons. If you have conspiracy brain, like Elon does, if you have mayonnaise brain, like Trump does, you see conspiracy everywhere. You see things that are not simple, and that makes you think, and that makes them think that it's corrupt. America has a very large, complicated government. That doesn't necessarily mean it's corrupt. You can't just chop a whole bunch of it off and then there we did it. We got rid of the corruption. No, man. Those people were there for a reason. If you don't understand the reason, how can you do the cuts? If you don't understand what the government is doing, how could I trust you to be in charge of it? Elon Musk is not smart enough to know how the government works. And he is chopping it up and killing it. Not because of intelligent decisions, but because he is an idiot. Donald Trump is also an idiot. He's a different kind of idiot. He's not the Dunning-Kruger kind of idiot. He's a mush-brained, opinionated kind of idiot. Everything he says is just a mess. If he says it's true, whatever he heard last is true. It's a different kind of idiot. But together, they make a very awful idiot sandwich. And this will continue. The dysfunction is, according to them, a good thing. God bless America. What do you think about the peace treaty between Russia and Ukraine? What conditions will it be on? That is the next thing we're going to talk about. Excellent segue. I appreciate you coming in and saying that. Ukraine's endgame, what each side wants from a peace deal. So the Ukraine, Donald Trump was talking about Ukraine recently. It's awful. Russia invaded Ukraine and stole from them. Russia could have ended this war immediately. Russia could end the war today by going home and abandoning the things they stole. That's an option. They're allowed to bring their troops back home and stop stealing somebody else's land. That should be the line we're all on. We should all be on that line. Hey, Russia, stop stealing other countries' land. Seems simple to me, but Donald Trump doesn't like that idea because he likes Russia. Russia is an oligarchy, and that's what he and Elon are building right now. They're building a non-government government. They're building a government of the billionaire, by the billionaire, for the billionaire. That's what they've got in Russia. If you are in Russia and you want something to happen, you pay to make it happen. Doesn't matter what it is. If you want to own a company, you pay for it. If you want to get out of a speeding ticket, you pay for it. If you want to get a law passed, you pay for it. Money is the only thing that matters in Russia. That's what they want for the United States. They love that idea. Donald Trump has a lot of money. Elon has a lot of money. They want everything to be out of Congress's hand. That whole Congress voting for things and then passing laws, they hate that shit. That's nerd shit. What they want is to give someone a lot of money and then the thing happen. That's it. That's what they want for your government. That's how they want the government to operate. Environmental controls ought to be done just by whoever pays the most money. Laws ought to be passed by whoever just pays the most money. Laws should be canceled if you pay enough money to cancel the law. That is the system that they would like for you and me to live under. I don't want to live under that system. That's a bad system. I would prefer rule of law to just buying whatever you want whenever you want. But that is what they want because they have the money. So that's what they're going to push for. That is why Donald Trump is such a big fan of Russia. So we get into it's stupid, idiotic peace negotiations with Donald Trump. Let's see. Ukraine's future is the focus of the Munich Security Conference, just days after a shock phone call between U.S. President Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin, in which they agreed to begin negotiations to end the Ukraine war. Why do negotiations need to happen? Putin, leave. That's it. The negotiations are 2 words. Putin, leave. That's it. It's not his land. It's not his country. He is broken in and stealing from them. If someone broke into my house and stole a bunch of my stuff, what negotiation is there? I have to negotiate with what they get to keep? That doesn't make any sense. Why would I negotiate with the robber, the burglar who's taking it from me? Why is there a negotiation here? Donald Trump the cops don't come in and say, okay, let's negotiate on what Waldo gets to keep and what the burglar gets to keep. Let's negotiate on this. That's not how this operates. That's not how any of this works. It doesn't make any sense at all. But they are on Vladimir Putin's side, so they want him to win. Describing the call earlier this week as great, Trump said that there was a good possibility of ending the horrible, very bloody war that Russia started with no reason. Ukraine's President Vladimir Zelensky warned that his country must not be left out of any peace talks. European allies seemed surprised by the nature of the call, with French President Emmanuel Macron warning that any peace agreement which involved capitulating to Russia would end badly for everyone. That's exactly what Donald Trump is doing. It's still unclear when peace negotiations could begin, but when they do, issues around territory, security negotiations, Ukraine's future, and NATO will be among the key topics for discussion. Here's what the different sides said. Okay, so look at this map. This is a map. Look at this photograph. Russia is over here, and the red is land they stole from Ukraine. It's very simple. They took it. Then they put troops there. And when Ukraine tried to push them out, they shot at them. And they're killing each other over land. This is some 17th century shit here. This isn't complicated global nuance. They wanted it. They took it. And if you can't stop them with bullets, they'll take some more. Stop doing that. That's the peace treaty. That's the answer. Russia, stop doing this. They're the ones doing it. And Crimea was taken by Russia back in, during Obama's terms, you know. So Russia took Crimea back in 2014. Yeah. They took back when Obama was in charge. They took that too. Now they're taking this. Why are they just allowed to take things from other people? That seems like a crime to me. That sounds like a bad idea. And why would Donald Trump accept it? Well, because he's a con man who wants to take from you. Donald Trump, also wants to take Canada. He wants to take Mexico. He wants to take Greenland. He wants to take the Panama Canal. He wants to take these things. Realpolitik, yeah. He wants to take these things. And if Russia isn't allowed to take things, well, then Donald Trump will probably also not be allowed to take things. So he needs the globe to see that it's acceptable to just take shit, because he wants to take shit. That's it. Why is Donald Trump on Russia's side? 1, he likes the oligarchy. 2, he likes the idea of government, of money, by money, for money. And he wants to take shit from other people. He wants to take your money. He wants to take your tax dollars. He wants to take your non-tax dollars by selling you a product that isn't real. He wants to take over media companies so that they'll say what he wants them to say, and he wants to take Greenland, and he wants to take Canada. He wants to take. And if we stop them from taking, then you're standing in his way and you're being unconstitutional if you don't let him steal from you. Because he doesn't know what the word means, and unconstitutional just means anything he doesn't like. Anything he doesn't like is simply unconstitutional. Let's see. Following the overthrow of the Ukraine pro-Russian president in 2014, Russia annexed the Black Sea Peninsula of Crimea and backed pro-Russian separatists in bloody fighting in the regions of Donetsk and Luhansk. So, yeah, I think this is just explaining the things. Could Ukraine become a NATO member? I think this is a situation that we could discuss. Bad news, Shinsinto. The Trump JPEGs and meme coins aren't actually real. His meme coin is to take your money. His NFTs are to take your money. I'm sorry, I had to let you know. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but he's just stealing from you. NATO is a complicated subject, but not as complicated as people are trying to make it out to be. What is NATO? Very simply, very stupidly, very small-brained. I will give you the very simple explanation of it. It is a military alliance that prevents Russia from stealing from people. That's it. It's a whole bunch of groups of countries that banded together to prevent Russia stealing from them. Let's look at this map, and you see that Russia is stealing from people. They're stealing from Ukraine. This is why Ukraine would like to be in NATO. It's a group of people that band together to prevent Russia from stealing. It's the NATO. Whenever you hear people talk about NATO, it's the anti-Russia stealing brigade. That's what they do. They band together to keep Russia from stealing. Russia's stealing Crimea, stealing Kherson, stealing Zaporizhzhia, stealing the Donetsk, stealing Luhansk. Stealing other people's land is what Russia does. That's why NATO got invented, to prevent them from doing that. That's why Ukraine wants to be in NATO. NATO has a couple of complicated and difficult entrance criteria, however. One of those criteria is that you can't be involved in a current war with Russia over land, which is why Russia took Crimea, because they wanted Ukraine not to enter NATO, because that would prevent them from stealing from them. And they cry and they scream and they whine that, oh no, they're going to enter NATO. Well, okay, yeah, why would they enter NATO? Because they don't want you to steal from them. And you're stealing from them. You see how all this fits together? Russia will go on TV, and Donald Trump even himself will go onto TV and look into the camera and say, oh, well, see, Russia had to invade and steal all this land because Ukraine was going to enter NATO. And NATO was going to prevent Russia from stealing their land. It doesn't make any sense. This anti-NATO idea. Is NATO perfect? No. Do they sometimes do bad things? Do they sometimes back up bad ideas? Yes, they're not perfect. Russia felt like they wanted the land. Exactly. Russia wanted this land, and if they were part of NATO, they wouldn't be able to take it, which means that they can't let Ukraine join NATO. And this is apparently, according to Republicans, an acceptable plan. You can't let Ukraine enter NATO because then Russia won't be able to steal from them. Stupid liberals. How's Russia going to steal land if they're in NATO? Dumbass fucking leftists. What are they thinking? Are you pro Russia stealing things from people? That seems like a bad position to be in. That seems like a dumb position to hold. But the entire Republican Party holds it. They hold the idea that Russia is allowed to steal. For the three reasons that I said before. They like the money, they like the dysfunctional government, and they also want to steal. So anybody saying that it's complicated, it's not. Anybody saying that it is a complex and difficult situation is covering Russia's ass. It's not complicated. It's not difficult. Are simple things signs of a baby brain? Yes, but simply put, Russia stealing, we would like them to stop. They could stop anytime they feel like it. They could leave. Their troops could leave to the Russian side of that border, and the fighting would be over. That's it. Simple. But Donald Trump doesn't like that simple answer, so he has to create a complicated weave of, well, they have it, so it's theirs now, and we have to do complicated peace talks. And the other thing is that Trump officials pitched Zelensky on U.S. owning 50% of Ukraine's rare earth minerals. So global politics is sometimes difficult. Here is some of the difficulty. We did give Zelensky a bunch of money and weapons to defend his country. Now, if you weren't a ham-fisted, piss-poor negotiator, the way Donald Trump is, you would suggest to him in a very calm, backroom, behind-the-scenes kind of way, hey, once you're safe, let's work on a plan to get those minerals out so that you get rich, we get to buy them on the cheap, and your country is safe. This is diplomacy. It's not it's obvious what we want from this situation. We will help you defend your borders, we will give you weapons, and in return, someday soon, our companies are going to work with your companies to extract minerals and wealth from the ground that we get on the cheap. That's not conspiracy. It's just business. Trump said all involved loves the deal. They said they'd be happy with the deal. The deal that he has is Russia wins. And Ukraine gets nothing. The art of the steal, that's right. Did you know that Ukraine is so flat, the only thing that can stop a bullet is a human body? That is a physics lesson that I did not expect from Donald Trump, that the only thing that stops a bullet is a human body. If you fire a bullet and it doesn't hit a person, it circumnavigates the entire globe and then hits you in the back. Careful with that shit, 10 past 11. There are billions of people, so it's going to hit a person before it hits you in the back. But if you timed it properly, maybe you could fire the gun, dodge roll to the left or the right, I don't care, or just hit the ground as fast as possible and create a forever spinning bullet that circumnavigates the globe over and over and over and over and over again until it hits someone. Free energy, troll face, let's do it. The art of the steal, right. Trader Todd. Donald Trump wants to steal. He wants it to be acceptable on the global stage for taking other people's land. That is the plan. That is the peace treaty. Now, if you were actually doing some sort of peace treaty, if you were doing some sort of treaty, yeah, I think Russia is in the wrong here. But make them stop advancing and, follow me here, put Ukraine in NATO immediately. Draw the borders where they were on that map that we just saw. I think I closed it. Draw the borders where they are and say, okay, fine, we're not happy about this, but you get to keep Crimea and you get to keep Luhansk. We are in NATO immediately, starting today. Now that is diplomacy. You see, Russia wins. I'm not happy about that, but they also lose by saying, okay, this is the damn line. Ukraine is in NATO now. And if you take one more step across those borders, all of NATO comes down on you, including America. But Donald Trump doesn't want that. That would be a both sides. Russia stole from you, and now we're saying, okay, you can't steal anymore. There are consequences if you steal anymore. It's not good. Russia would win, and that it would be a small victory, but they also have a small loss here by getting Ukraine into NATO. Not a good thing, but it is halfway in between. It is a thing that could happen. I would suggest that would happen. But Donald Trump doesn't want Ukraine in NATO, because then we would have to stop Russia stealing. And America wants to steal. Donald Trump wants to steal. He wants to do the art of the steal for all of those other places. So that is what's going to happen. He's going to let Russia win, and then he's going to try and steal as much as he can from Zelensky. with these rare earth minerals. Trump officials pitched Zelensky on U.S. owning 50% of Ukraine's rare earth minerals. The Trump administration indicates U.S. troops could be deployed to provide security in connection with the minerals if there's a peace deal with Russia. He's going to send American troops to Ukraine to protect what? They're our ally. Is he shooting at Russians? Why would he do that? Are they shooting at Ukrainians? Why would they do that? Who were the troops protecting? Yeah, I think, Valor, protect in quotation marks, because they're just stealing. The troops are going to go there. The mining companies, the U.S. investment, exactly. The drilling companies, the mining companies, the big industry that owns and operates all these things will go there, and the Ukrainians will say, no, you're not allowed to just steal from us. And then they might actually try to stop those companies from operating within their borders. We're going to bring democracy for the next 20 years. Exactly. Shinzento, you got it. We're going to bring democracy to Ukraine. Our giant industry is going to go in there and steal their natural resources, giving the Ukrainians nothing and keeping all the profit for themselves. And when the Ukrainians complain about that, they'll have to complain to a ring of American troops, which is really hard to complain at them. It's like the old days in South America. Absolutely right, Valor. We're just going to go in, take what we want, and shoot anybody that tries to stop us. Art of the steal. That is what his plan. That is where he's going. The Trump administration has suggested that to Ukraine that the United States be granted 50% ownership of the country's rare earth minerals and signaled an openness to deploying American troops there to guard them if there's a deal with Russia to end the war. Still guarding what? Rather than pay for the minerals, the ownership agreement would be a way for Ukraine to reimburse the U.S. for billions of dollars in weapons and support they provided to give. Now, if you weren't an idiot, if you weren't a big, dumb, blustering buffoon, you could put this plan into place through decency and diplomacy. But Donald Trump is not that. He is a big, dumb ox who stumbles into the room. He's a bull in a china shop. He stomps in there, smashes everything, and then if you're he's just bad at everything. He claims to be this deal maker, but he's just a bully. He's stomping in there saying, this is ours now. This is ours. 50%, give it to us, or else we'll destroy you. That's not negotiation. That's not a deal. That's violence. Give us what we want or we will harm you is not negotiation. It's not a deal maker. It's not complicated diplomacy. Give me what I want or I will smash you. Like we guarded the poppy fields in there. Yeah, exactly. Like we did in Afghanistan, guarding the poppy fields. That's what's coming for Ukraine. Sorry, Ukraine. I wish we didn't have Donald Trump in charge. I would have done a better job. Kamala would have done something similar. She would have done something similar. America protected you during this invasion. What can you do to make us feel better? What can you do now that we're friends, now that we're allies? Maybe you give a few leases to our companies. Maybe you work with us to get the rare earth minerals out of the ground and then sell them, and you get some of the profit and we get most of the profit. That is business. It's not great, but it is business. Donald Trump isn't dumb. Well, I think he is. He's good at building generational wealth for his family. He's doing a great job of it. Well, I don't know that he is. Didn't somebody say that if he had just taken the money his dad gave him and put it in a very safe investment strategy, he'd be more rich than he actually is? But now that he's robbing people with NFTs and Dogecoins and Trump coins, I think he actually is more rich than he would have been. He's bankrupted countless times. Well, that's just because he's smart. On what authority? The U.S. authority. Yeah, exactly. 10 past 11. We're going to just go in there and demand that we have this stuff. We're going to demand that we get these things, or else we will harm them. That's bad diplomacy. It's not good diplomacy. It's weak. It's brain dead bully diplomacy. Would Dems have done the same thing? Yeah, they would have. I explained that already. But yeah, they would have done it in a softer kind of way. I heard this from somebody else. I didn't write this, but Republicans want a con man and Democrats want a con artist. There's a difference. You see, Trump is a con man. Kamala would have been a con artist. She would have said the nice things. She would have caught those flies with honey rather than just smashing in. That's so accurate, it's scary. Yeah. I'd rather have a pure heroin again instead of rare earth nerd shit. Yeah, you're right. 10 past 11. The lithium that's being dug up out of Ukraine will be used for nerd shit like computers and batteries to Tesla cars and electrical components and stuff like that. But it would be better if we just grew the poppies. I feel you. So yeah, Donald Trump is the con man. He will just stomp in, say this is what we want, and this is how we're going to take it, conning the people. But Kamala would have been a con artist. She would have put diplomatic language into a complicated contract that gets us the best deal. Yeah. So it's going to go poorly for old Zelensky here. He's not going to get what he wants, and he is going to lose part of his country to Russia, and then he's going to lose a lot of his minerals and his natural wealth to America. That's how it ends. That's the peace deal, is Russia gets to steal from you, and America also gets to steal from you. And if you don't like it, shoot at one of them, shoot at both of them. What are you going to do? You're going to shoot at them? You're going to shoot at the Russians? You've been doing that for a while. You're going to shoot at the Americans? That's going to give Donald Trump exactly what he wants, which is bully diplomacy. Well, they wouldn't let us steal all their lithium. So they shot at us, which means you shot at American troops, and now we get to go to war with them. We get to stomp on them. We get to destroy them. We get to blow the shit out of them, and then claim that we're defending ourselves. If you try to stop Donald Trump from stealing, you can't do it with the law. You can't stop Donald Trump stealing with the law. He doesn't respect the law. He is the law now. You can't stop him from stealing with legislation. Who cares? The judges can't stop him from stealing. He'll just ignore them. He owns the security apparatus. He owns the DOJ, and he owns the military. He'll just wait for you to physically try to stop him and then respond with overwhelming violence. That is where we're headed. We're headed for overwhelming violence from the American government towards the people who disagree with them, towards the people who try to stand in their way, towards the protesters who form a human chain to prevent them from stealing from the American people. If you physically try to stop Donald Trump and Elon Musk from stealing from the American people, they will physically harm you and then financially destroy you. That's where we're headed. And then Trump goes Dutch with Putin all over the Ukrainian land. Yeah, absolutely. Donald Trump and Putin will split that land in half and take from it everything that they can and blame Ukraine. They'll blame everyone else. It shouldn't have happened. It wouldn't have happened under my watch. This war wouldn't have happened. And they'll blame Joe Biden. Ukraine will be split down the middle. Russia will steal half of it. America will steal half of it. And it'll be Joe Biden's fault somehow. And, everyone will be happier. Yeah, exactly. You're right, 10 past 11, to make everyone happy. There it is. The feelings of happiness will be about. The place will be very good, very fun. Yeah, you're right. He will. He'll build more golf courses, just like he's doing with in Gaza, right? He's gonna destroy Gaza. He was complaining about Gaza the other day. Gaza is very dangerous. You can't go there. You can't go to Gaza. Whole place very dangerous. That West Bank destroyed, and we need to build it back up. We need all the people to leave, and then we'll build it back up, and then they can't come back. Why is Gaza dangerous, Donnie? Why is it filled with unexploded munitions? Because Israel put them there. Israel put the bombs there, and now the people can't live there because of the bombs. that we sold them. America sold Israel the bombs, or gave them bombs. Then they dropped it on Gaza. Now Gaza is unlivable, and your plan is to make all the Gazans leave and never come back. And then you own it. That's his plan. That's always his plan. That's the deal. When Donald Trump talks about the deal, he's a deal maker. That's what he's talking about. Destroying things and then forcing people out and then owning it himself. What's the matter with you people? Don't you want to be happy? Absolutely right. You should be happy about this. That's the plan. That's the deal. When he starts talking about the art of the deal, when he starts talking about the deal, it's destroy and capture. That's the deal. And if you get in his way, you get crushed. Crush the opposition, steal from them, then claim that it's their fault. That's the deal. Be happy with my decision or else. Absolutely. That's the art of the deal, baby. That's how this works. How about RFK Jr. already taking aim at antidepressants? And so now that we're talking about being happy, I'm glad you brought this up 10 past 11 about people being happy. They're going to make it harder to be happy, I think. This is probably going to make it harder to be happy. New HHS secretary has made baseless claims that the drugs are addictive and cause violent behavior. Hours after being confirmed as Secretary of U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. issued a statement and laid out sweeping plans for his first 100 days in office. Chief among the goals, he wrote, was to combat what he called a growing health crisis of chronic disease. Chronic disease is whatever he says it is. There's no, solid definition of chronic disease because he's a conspiracy theorist. I got to put the hat on for this one. I do. Guys, I do. We're talking about RFK Jr., so we have to have our hat on. The document called for the federal government to investigate the root causes of a broad range of conditions, including autism, ADHD, asthma, obesity, multiple sclerosis, and psoriasis. How the fuck does psoriasis get in there? That's just like dandruff, right? Conspicuously absent was any explicit mention of childhood vaccines, which Kennedy has long railed against as the head of the anti-vaccine advocacy. But the document did zero, so he didn't talk about vaccines yet. Okay. But the document did zero in on another one of his fixations, a class of widely prescribed drugs that treat depression, anxiety, and mood disorders. The government said he would assess the prevalence of the threat posed by the prescription of selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, antipsychotics, and mood stabilizers. Kennedy has repeatedly railed against what he sees as a rampant overprescription of the SSRIs. Prozac and Zoloft. As with his previous assertions about vaccines, many of his statements about those drugs are not backed by science. Not backed by science. Not backed by science. He feels that SSRIs are addictive and dangerous. Science disagrees with him, but who cares? It's all about his feelings. He claimed the tremendous circumstantial evidence suggested that people taking antidepressants were more likely to commit school shootings. Actually, most school shooters were not taking those drugs. Evidence shows. He doesn't like evidence. Evidence is for nerds. Evidence is nerd shit. Kennedy has also called people taking SSRIs addicts, and then he tried to claim he didn't bring this up in his confirmation hearings. Because he's a liar, he will say exciting things on a podcast, but then when he's in front of Congress, sworn under oath, he'll say that he never said those, so that's not what he meant. Coming from the guy that puts blue dye in his water, thinking it'll detoxify him. It actually turns your brain blue. Have you seen that? RFK Jr.'s brain has too many wormholes in it to actually comprehend this position. Yeah, absolutely. The stuff turns your brain blue. It really does. I'm not making that up. That's an actual fact. Let's find it. Blue brain. From what was the name of that crap? Methylene blue. There we go. Methylene blue turns your brain blue. Meth. Wylene blue turns your brain blue. Let's look at the images. Now, this is a little bit gross, but here we go. There we are. Methylene blue will turn your brain blue. RFK Jr., the head of DHHS, puts this in his water to detoxify it. And his brain is turning blue. I'm wearing the hat and I'm the sane person in this situation, right? Like, he's crazy. This is not a good idea. He says he puts it in. We have photos. We have video of him putting that in his drink. We have video of it, Valor. He's not saying he puts those things in his drink. We have video of him doing it on a plane. He took out a bottle and he took out a little eyedropper and he dropped some blue liquid into his water so that it would be clean. And if he does that regularly, if he does it on a regular basis, this is what happens. Blue brain. It's because he was a Democrat for such a long time. Maybe 10 past 11 has something going on here. Maybe he's right. Maybe it is because of this is a trick. This is the trick, folks. They force you to take this methylene blue so that it turns your brain blue, and then you'll vote for Kamala. Except he doesn't like Kamala. He has RFK Jr. abandoned the Democrats and has moved to the right. But now he's drinking blue stuff. It's bad and it's dumb. And he is not operating within the sphere of reality. He's not in the intelligence place. He's in the feelings. He feels like this is a good idea because the big pharma has told him not to do it. Big pharma tells you not to eat poison, and so he's going to eat poison. If big pharma told him not to eat yellow snow, he would go outside, he would find some piss snow, and he'd be like, nom, 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 nom. I sure do love piss snow. Delicious. Big pharma told me not to eat piss. And so he does. Dude, these people are fucking insane. Claiming to be on the left. Well, he has been a mess for a while because I see Reddit dummies saying he's a leftist all the time. He is an environmentalist and he believes in climate change, which makes you a leftist somehow. It's probably kratom. It may be. I don't know much about kratom, but I can buy it at the local gas station. Should I? I don't know if I should. I was driving down the street the other day, and they were selling kratom at the local gas station, and I was like, man, I don't know what that is, but I suppose you can trust it if it's at the fucking gas station. Okay, so let's keep reading, see if there's anything else going on here with this. What do we got? When government researchers follow Kennedy's orders to study SSRIs, they'll find reams of research, including long-term studies. They have found that the drugs are safe and non-addictive. So evidence and studies have found them to be safe and non-addictive, but he's going to discard those because he doesn't like them, because he feels like something is different. That's good news for the 13% of American adults who use SSRIs. 13%. Good Lord. That's a lot of people who are going to be depressed and anxious when he takes this away from them. It sounds like a bad idea. Bobby, listen. Do some research. Trust that research. If you do research and you find that it is bad for 13% of Americans to be taking these drugs, publish it, have people argue with you, have people test it, reproduce the findings that you have had. And if they do, then we can come to a sensible, logical situation on what to replace it with and how to move forward. Slow and steady. Does anybody really think he's going to do that? No. He's not going to do that. He's going to stomp into the room and say, cancel all SSRIs. All SSRIs are now canceled. Stop selling them. They're not allowed to be sold to anybody, anywhere, ever again. That's what he's going to do. He's going to just stop them. And then people will suffer. And then science will tell him, hey, this is probably not a good idea. And then he'll surround you with bullshit science that agrees with him, because that's how he operates. If the science supports him, he supports the science. If the science disagrees with him, that's junk science and shouldn't be trusted. He's going about it backwards. He's got an end, and he's looking for evidence to support that end. It's not how science works. It's not how anything, it's not how logic works. You don't choose an end point based on your feelings, then go looking for evidence to support it. But that's what he's doing. No, eat kratom. It's a dumb way to get. Oh, okay. I mean, kratom and tastes like shit and did pretty much nothing, even from a stoner angle. It sucks. Oh, okay. Well, then I won't go buy some from the local gas station. You guys saved me $9, I suppose. I don't know how much it costs. I didn't look. But that's how he operates. Find the solution that you like the best. Go look for evidence to just back up your solution that you liked the best, that felt good to you. Whatever feels good to you, go find evidence proving that it's correct. And that's the scientific method that we're going to get over the next few years, maybe forever if we're unlucky. If we play our cards wrong, this will be the way that America works forever. And that makes me sad. So he's going to come in. He's going to cancel the medicine that 13% of the Americans need, and it will suck. I think, does this have anything to do with his farms? I know he talked about putting together farms to prevent people from having ADHD. No, it doesn't have any of that. But he was talking about to cure ADHD, he's going to put people in camps, in farms, where they force you to do a bunch of manual labor. And it'll be a good time, because then you won't be anxious or worried, and you won't have access to Twitter, so you'll feel better. It isn't good or normal for a South African Nazi to give press briefings in the Oval Office. I agree with you completely, T. While POTUS sits there like an obedient little bitch, and the VP is off somewhere looking up eye makeup. Excellent point. I agree with you entirely. We're about to talk about the VP and his Nazi tour that he's going on. Let's jump into that. Drugs do feel good, 10 past 11. Have you ever tried them? They're great. Humans love drugs. And they always have. Forever. For eternity. Before the written word, humans enjoyed drugs. I'm not saying they should. I'm not saying you need to die immediately by eating a pound of cocaine. That's a dumb thing to do. But I'm suggesting that if you understand that people need these chemicals and or want them, you can figure out what's good for them, and you can figure out a way to do it in a smart way, rather than just chopping off, saying no more SSRIs, no more of this, no more of that. This is forbidden. This is acceptable. Alcohol acceptable. Cocaine forbidden, weed forbidden, kratom is acceptable. I don't know. You start making arbitrary lines like that, and shit goes wrong. Shit goes weird, and then you get the war on drugs, which is a gigantic failure because people love drugs. MAGA scream about people to get cucked. Didn't Elon cuck the president? Yes, he did, Shinzento. We covered that on on the last live stream, T. So go on over there to the last live stream, or stick around here and chat some more, because you seem like a cool guy. President Elon addressed the country from his Oval Office while some cuck guy sat in a chair. And his son, and Elon's son, Joffrey, called him a bitch. Like it was a whole thing. Let's take off the hat and let's go check out J.D. Vance's Nazi tour that he's doing in Europe. It's a very fun time. He's having a good old time over in Europe, going on a Nazi tour. 10 past 11. There's something to be said about fleeting attention and concentration and how it can be really zeroed in with manual labor. And that is a good point. If, before we change subjects, if RFK Jr. has some plans to help people get over their problems, their addiction, their stuff, their medical issues with like physical labor on a farm that in a way to detox, I would accept that coming from a medical doctor putting together a treatment plan as part. If the manual labor is part of a treatment plan put together by a medical professional, I would accept it. That sounds like a good idea to me. But he's not going to get together intelligent, well-studied research academics. Well, he's not going to put together a crack team of intelligent people making calm, rational decisions. He's just going to go willy-nilly, canceling the things he hates, promoting the things he likes, which is like testosterone, and making decisions based on his feelings. And if it goes wrong, it's your fault. I wonder if there's a blatantly obvious reason that RFK is against SSRIs, because he's filled with misinformation. Like his kid got them to stop being obedient to, like with Elon's anti-trans opinions. Elon does think that Twitter turned his one of his kids trans, but maybe there's something there for the SSRIs. I'm not entirely sure. I think all drugs should be illegal, but I think all of the gun laws are unconstitutional too. Yeah, it's a mess. Our laws are not written. Well, most American laws have a purpose and a reason. It's just, it depends on who's in charge to push that reason and that idea. So I don't want to jump into the gun argument right now. I've done it in the past, but we have to talk about J.D. Vance and his Nazi tour. Hooray! So J.D. Vance went on like a European Nazi tour where he met all the people that are anti-democracy. He's complaining about abortion buffer zones, where like one guy was inside the zone. Like, you're not allowed to protest. So they set up a safe access zone, in a Scottish government spokesperson said no letters have been sent to. So in Scotland, they set up a safe access zone, which means that within so many feet of the abortion clinic, you're not allowed to protest. Somebody did go into that zone and protest it, which would be against the law. But how did they protest? Were they holding a big sign with dismembered fetuses on it? No. He went there and he prayed, which means J.D. Vance to the rescue. He needs to jump in there and say, that wasn't a protest, that was prayer. And you can't stop people from praying in a zone. You can't set up a no prayer zone. That's illegal. He was protesting the abortions that were happening, and he was inside the no protest zone. But if you break the law in a Christian way, J.D. Vance will protect you. If you break the laws in a very Christian way, J.D. Vance, the fascist, will protect you. He will cancel the laws because you're doing things in a very Christian way. If you very Christianly kill some people for the strength of Christ and to while saying the Lord's Prayer and protecting Donald Trump, or benefiting Donald Trump, not even protecting, but benefiting. If you kill some people in a very Christian way while saying the Lord's Prayer and it benefits Donald Trump, it's allowed. That's just legal. Let's think about if maybe there, hypothetically speaking, don't cancel me, YouTube. This is all fucking hypothetical. Don't come at me with threats of violence. I'm hypothetically hypothesizing right now. Okay. If you made a plan to murder, I don't know, perhaps the person who used to be in charge of the house, we all know who she is, but you said the Lord's Prayer beforehand, you looked into the camera, you went on all your social media and talked about how she's harming your freedom of religion, and then you killed her and it benefits Donald Trump, they might protect you. They might allow you to remain free and not be punished as severely as you ought to be. They might punish you a little bit. They might like put you in off to the side, but they'll put you in one of those nice prisons for the rich people. I gotta go help bro understand the game. Yeah, thanks for coming, Valor. I appreciate it. He's an embarrassment to Yale. Yeah, have you ever met a graduate of Yale? They're eccentric and don't associate well with others. How's the joke go that you can always tell a Yale man? You just can't tell him much. Is that how the joke goes? I think that's how it is. He is, going to protect the people who harm rights but for the correct reasons, for his ideology. You can harm the rule of law as long as you're doing it to benefit him, benefit Christianity, and benefit the right-wing swing towards fascism, So he did that. Then what else did he do? He attacked Europe over free speech and migration. There we go. What else did he do? U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance has launched a scalding attack on European democracy, saying the greatest threat facing the continent was not from Russia or China, but from within. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, Dan Baslam, thank you. Protect me. It has been expected that Vance would use his speech at the Munich Security Conference to address possible talks to end the war in Ukraine. Instead, he spent a majority accusing European governments, including the UK's, of retreating from their values and ignoring voter concerns on migration and free speech. The address was met by silence in the hall and later denounced by several politicians at the conference. German Defense Minister Boris Pistorius said it was not acceptable. Vance repeated the Trump administration line that Europe must step up in a big way to provide for its own defense. Defense against what, JD? Defense against brown people. That's what he's complaining about. You're letting brown people into your countries. Ugh. Gross. Yuck. Don't you know those brown people are like Muslims sometimes? Disgusting. JD Vance hates non-white people. And he doesn't want non-white people in Europe and the UK generally. Alex Bones, Defense Against the Dark Arts, they need Severus Snape to help them shape up. Yeah, I mean, that would be slightly better than J.D. Vance. I'd vote for Severus Snape above J.D. Vance. The Ukraine war was mentioned, with Vance saying he hoped a reasonable settlement could be reached after U.S. President Donald Trump's surprise announcement earlier this week that he and Russia's Vladimir Putin had agreed to begin peace talks. But Vance's address otherwise focused on culture war issues and key themes of Trump's campaign for the U.S. presidency, a departure from the usual security and defense discussions at an annual conference. So, yeah, he just pushed racism to these people. Hey, be more racist. Don't let brown people into your country. Let's see. And then this is, again, the Scottish government that we were talking about before. And then J.D. Vance meets leader of far-right German party after claiming free speech in Europe in retreat. U.S. Vice President criticizes the firewall on working with alternative German party. So he's complaining about the firewall. What is this firewall? Well, it prevents Nazis. J.D. Vance would like you to take down the firewall that's preventing Nazis from running for government office. Actually, literally, I'm not even making that up. He wants Germany to remove the laws and the prohibitions that Germany has for Nazis to run for public office. That's the firewall he's discussing. It's an anti-Nazi firewall, and he needs you to take it down. Because he's a bad guy. He's the personality of a sock puppet. Well, he's doing Nazi shit. I wish it weren't true, but it is. The AfD is the closest thing that Germany has to a Nazi party. And usually they don't get much respect. But they are getting some more support lately because Nazism and right-wing fascism is on the rise. Hail JD. Yeah, exactly. The U.S. Vice President, J.D. Vance, met the leader of German far-right party during the visit to Munich on Friday, 9 days before the German election, and after lecturing European leaders about the state of democracy. Vance met with Alice Weidel, the co-leader and candidate for chancellor of the far-right anti-immigrant Alternative for Germany party. Mainstream German parties say they won't work with this anti-immigrant party, a stance often referred to as the firewall. Polls put Alternative for Germany, or AfD, in second place going into the February 23rd election. It's only a few days away, with about 20% support. News of the meeting came after top German officials pushed back hard against Vance's complaints about the state of democracy in Europe, with the defense minister calling it unacceptable to draw a parallel with authoritarian governments. He and the Chancellor Olaf Scholz defended the German mainstream party's firewall. Let's see. Vance said on Friday that he fears free speech is in retreat. Too many of us, this is a quote from Vance, too many of us on the other side of the Atlantic, it looks more and... okay. Sorry, I flubbed that line. J.D. Vance said, to many of us on the other side of the Atlantic, it looks more and more like old entrenched interests hiding behind ugly Soviet-era words like misinformation and disinformation, who simply don't like the idea that somebody with an alternative viewpoint might express a different opinion or, God forbid, vote a different way, or even worse, win an election. The alternative viewpoint he's talking about is Nazism. That's it. He's upset that the alternative viewpoints of Nazism are not being respected. Hey, let's listen to the Nazis and hear what they have to say, says J.D. Vance. Shit's getting real, y'all. Could they have put up the firewall up since had a problem with Nazis at one point? Yeah, exactly. J.D. Vance literally looks like a puppet from Team America. He does kind of look like a puppet. You're right. Step in my shower. He might be a actual marionette. I haven't looked into that idea, but you're pointing me in a direction that I had not thought before. I appreciate you giving me thought ideas. It's the opposite of a thought terminating cliche. It's a thought generating cliche. I like that. The firewall is intended to prevent Nazis from being elected. Is it okay to bar Nazi ideologies and parties in your elections? Yes. Yes, it is. They're anti-democracy. You can't allow them to run in your democratic elections. They will get elected by lying, then dismantle democracy from the inside. It's okay to bar Nazis and anti-tolerant movements from your democracy. That's okay. If you are pushing anti-tolerance, if you are trying to get elected on a platform of I am going to tear down the entire government to take away human rights, I think it's okay to bar them from office, from running, from being a party. He who saves his country does not violate any law. Yeah, that's a very true Napoleon quote. I have no doubt that he said exactly that, and I will not look it up. But you can't allow these people to be in charge. You can't allow them to run, and that's not intolerant. There is a point at which you cannot tolerate the bigotry. You cannot tolerate the fascism. You cannot tolerate the intolerant. Because in doing so, they will lie to people because they don't care about what's true. They don't care about what's real. And they will ruin the things that you've already built. But bigotry is based. Yeah, I'm sorry. Only if you're a Republican. Only if you're a MAGA. MAGA is built on bigotry. There's a puppy dog right over here. You guys, I know we're in the serious shit and subjects, but there's a puppy dog right there. I'm going to grab him, and then we're going to have a little Bobo break. All right, you guys ready? Bobo break. Here it comes. This is Bobo, the baby bark boy. Big yawn. There you go. Good job, Bobo. Say hello to the people. You're internet famous, Bobo. Billions of people are watching. How does that make you feel? There are billions of people watching. I just pretend. Let me have this, okay? Just let me feel like I'm a big shot, okay? He's a mop. Look at me. And we have not cut his hair yet. He is just mop-like. And I kind of like it. I'm shaggy as well, but I think it's good. Sometimes we cut it off of his face or around his eyes because he has to. It will grow over his eyes, and that's not fun. Another big yawn. Gosh, are you going to take a nap? Are you going to be a good little bark boy? Okay. If you want to see more Bobo pictures, you can do that at the Discord. Oh my God, there's a Discord right there. Look at that. Go on over there. There's the entire channel of Bobo the Baby Bark Boy photos. And I take pictures of him whenever I put a funny shirt on him. I don't think he's ever been in a truck. I mean, I have an SUV that he's been into, but he doesn't get out. He barks at the trucks, the loud trucks. If the loud trucks drive up and down the street, he barks at them. So maybe he would like being in one. I don't know. I've never tried. So yeah, if you want to go to the Discord, you can leave links to fun politics stories. I'll look at them. We'll feel them all out together. I'll put them up on screen. You can argue with people there. You can go there and you can debate people. That's fun sometimes. And you can see the photos that I put up. Go on over there and have a good time. Or if you want to see old videos, you can go on over to the YouTube. I turn all of these streams into smaller, condensed versions, and sometimes put funny noises and funny pictures up when I do it, when I have the time for editing. Editor Waldo is a horrible person. Editor Waldo is a grumpy, unhappy person. Streamer Waldo's great. Streamer Waldo loves streaming. But Editor Waldo, he's a grumpy guy who hates the algorithm and dislikes the amount of time that it takes to edit videos. So it's a bit of a mess. But going over to the YouTube page, click the button, click the like button, click the thumbs up button, click the heart button, click the bell, smash the bell, destroy the sub button, and leave some hateful comments in the comments so that the algorithm will recognize that you hate something and then spread my message further. I don't have a message of hate, but the YouTube algorithm is powered by hatred. So go there and share some hatred. A significant portion of Republican voters honestly believe that Elon Musk was born in the United States and not South Africa. Yeah, they're not always informed, those types. This is the kind of stupidity we're dealing with. Yeah, and you can't use facts to prove otherwise. Facts are not important. The accusation is all that matters to them. So I'm going to rant now about, what are we ranting about? AOC and the DOJ. I saw something which is awful. Let's look at this headline before I rant for a minute. AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, under investigation over illegal migrant video. So the DOJ is coming after her. AOC has possibly, according to Tom Homan, border czar, committed a crime. You guys, let's find out what type of horrible criminal injustice she has provided. What did she do? Border czar Tom Homan. Let's put on the important, the scary voice. Border czar Tom Homan suggested Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is being investigated by the Department of Justice for potentially impeding immigration enforcement law. AOC hosted a live webinar on Wednesday advising migrants in her congressional district about their rights if they come in contact with an ICE agent looking to deport them. That's the crime. AOC, a member of the legislative branch of the government, told people, her constituents, about the law. Brain explosion. The crime she committed, according to Homan. She told people in America about the law of the land. That's it. The crime that she committed. It keeps running through my head over and over and over again. I can't get past it. Tom Homan says that it's a crime to explain the law to people. If I did it, it might actually be legal advice, in which case I might actually be bending a law slightly. If I give you legal advice, I can't, I'm not a lawyer. She is. She is literally an elected official to the legislative branch, and she is allowed to discuss legislation with the people. But Tom Homan says that's a crime because it feels like a crime to him. She committed the crime of free speech. Yeah, exactly. If I own a beagle, I can give beagle advice. That's allowed. I support you entirely and do not want the DOJ to come and hassle you for giving beagle advice. But Tom Homan might. Tom Homan might want you in jail for giving beagle advice. Let's keep reading. According to Homan, impediment is impediment, in my opinion. He questioned whether her behavior was crossing the line. Explaining things is crossing the line. Trump made strict immigration measures a core component of his return to the White House, along with carrying out mass deportations. His second administration has vowed to prosecute anyone who impedes their immigration enforcement operations. The Know Your Rights with ICE virtual event was streamed live on AOC's Facebook page, providing migrant viewers with information on handling ICE search requests if the officers arrive at their homes or workplace. The 54-minute live stream was designed to inform migrants living in the 14th District, which encompasses the area of Queens and Bronx, on their rights. Believe it or not, in America, everyone has rights. The Republicans do not know this, and they do not accept it, and they do not comprehend this idea that everyone in America has rights. They don't know that. They don't accept it. They don't believe it. They don't believe it. It's true. You don't need to believe it. It is literally correct. But they don't believe it. And that's part of the problem. The law is whatever they want it to be. Tom Homan just wants the law to be whatever he feels like it ought to be. Doesn't matter what it says. Doesn't matter what's written. Doesn't matter what the judges have done. It doesn't matter what the Constitution says. That's all nerd shit. Feels are where Tom Homan gets his laws, however he feels. The mindset is if I can't have her, nobody can. Have those people going, yeah, it is an unpleasant side effect. People on the right really come off as super selfish. Yes, absolutely. So why am I ranting about this? In other words, Tom Homan wants the DOJ to investigate because he thinks it's criminal to explain the law to people. AOC used her speech to explain the literal law to human beings that are the subject to those laws. Which part is the crime, Tom Homan? Tom, listen, Tom. Which part of that is the crime? The speech? Is she not allowed to say the words? Or is it the substance that's the crime? Is she not allowed to explain the legislation? She's literally a member of the legislative branch. In Trump's America, if the truth does not help Trump's agenda, then the truth is illegal. Tom Homan wants the law enforcement branch of the government to prevent the legislative branch from speaking about legislation. Tom Homan does not give a shit about the law. He just wants to hurt brown people. He feels like they don't belong in his white country. The law is a tool to harm people he does not like. He uses the law to hurt the immigrants because he does not like them. And when AOC says that's not how the law works, that makes him also not like her. So he's going to use the law to hurt her. That's it. That's the entire situation here. They don't like a person. The law is intended to hurt them. Republicans have bastardized the word truth and only consider it when it's convenient. Yeah, exactly. If the truth doesn't push Donald Trump's agenda, then it's illegal. A member of the legislative branch explaining legislation is not a crime, and he knows it, but he needs an allegation of crime for the right wing to latch on to. The right is very dramatic. They, drama llamas in chat. Where's my drama llamas? There they are, drama llamas. Wait, did they show up? I didn't hit enter. Enter. Drama llamas. The right is very dramatic. They love drama. They eat that shit up. I lost my place. They love the show. Messy drama llama accusations give their tiny brains some dopamine, as well as something to distract them from Elon's coups and the rising egg prices. Anyone disagreeing with a Republican must face this show. Biden had to deal with the accusations of Hunter's laptop and the Burisma nonsense, which got massive, amazing views on cable news. But did you see anybody cover the FBI informant when he pled guilty to making up the claims? The accusation is the story. The wild claims are spread as fact. The drama is heightened. The opinion pieces are wild. Memes are created. Kermit the Frog sits by a window, drinking tea, and ponders how much the big guy made from the Ukrainian energy company. The evidence, however, is ignored because it's boring and getting in the way of all the fun drama. The person who made the claims about Biden stealing and Hunter Biden taking all this money from Burisma and giving it to Joe Biden is in jail right now for lying to the FBI about Hunter Biden taking money from Burisma and giving it to Joe Biden. He's in jail for the lie he told. But we still have to hear about it. We heard about it for years. And there are right-wing people who will yell at me in chat, in my comments, about how it's totally true and completely correct. Because they don't care about what's real. They care about the drama. They care about the fun story. And then they ignore the evidence because that's boring and drama is fun. The news barely covers the story when the informant made the claim, pleads guilty. I personally enjoy fiction myself. I could discuss with you for hours about Star Wars or the latest Brandon Sanderson novel. Enjoying drama is human nature. But it does not belong in the government because they are supposed to be the place of reality. Intelligent people making calm, rational decisions about the future. That's what you're supposed to have. Intelligent decisions made by educated people for the benefit of the masses. Which do you think Trump is doing? Conservatives, listen. Conservatives, listen. Bring it in. Conservatives, come here. Do you think that Trump is making intelligent decisions based on logic and evidence? Or petty drama based on spite? I think it's the second one. And if it is the second one, just spiteful, why do the MAGA faithful support it? I'll tell you why. It's because they feel like it's warranted. They feel like Biden was a crook. They feel like Hillary's email server was a big deal. They feel like there's some truth to Pizzagate. They feel like Obama might not have been born in Hawaii. They feel like it's okay for Trump to go on a spiteful revenge tour because the Dems were spiteful first. But I see no evidence of that. Evidence doesn't matter anymore. Evidence is slow, lumbering, thought-based process. Accusations, however, are fun, fast, feelings-based process. The MAGA faithful are not swayed by evidence. Accusations are all that matter to them. And that is today's rant. Kermit the Frog, you mean Jordan Peterson? No, I mean actually the Kermit the Frog meme. Have you met a guy with the same mug jaw style as Tom Homan has? They're miserable, self-centered idiots, and dumb. They look like thumbs. Yeah, they're cop shaped. Tom Homan is cop shaped. It's something about the shape of the human body. It turns you into a cop. I don't know. It's weird. You fight against the big toothpaste, maybe. Holding people accountable isn't spite. Yeah, that's what they think. Donald Trump isn't being spiteful. He's going after the people that went after him. Well, they went after Donald Trump because he's a criminal. He committed crimes. Then the DOJ investigated those crimes, found him that he did those crimes, and then they brought him up on charges. Crimes. But if you go after Donald Trump, you're being political. The right wing has corrupted that word entirely. The word political can mean whatever the hell they want it to mean. I got a text, but it's spam. So waiting on my balls to become a real show. It kind of was. It was America's Funniest Home Videos. We're living in the idiocracy timeline. Yeah, kind of. I talked about that on last week's stream. Feel free to go watch that. That's cool. We are in the idiocracy timeline. JD Vance is pushing conspiracy theories. RFK Jr. is going to make decisions based on which stock he wants to go up. Actually, no, I take that back. RFK Jr. is going to make decisions on what he feels is healthy for you to take, and what he feels isn't healthy for you to take. If it's got electrolytes, he'll be on board for it. It's Elon that's going to make the decisions on stock prices. Elon is going to push funding to things that help his bottom line. Elon is going to cancel funding because he owns the treasury now. He's going to cancel the funding for things that he feels like is going to hurt his stock portfolio. So if a government program helps Elon Musk, it gets funded. If the government program hurts Elon Musk's stock portfolio, it won't get funded. That's all there is to it. President Dwayne Elizondo, Mountain Dew, Herbert Camacho, Trump. Yeah. And they just do stunts. When President Elizondo came out there, and he just started doing stunts. He said some shit, talked from his feelings, talked from his heart, did some crazy shit, and then the people cheered. And that's what we've got now. We've got a government of stunts, by stunts, for stunts, so that he can get in the news. Every single day, Donald Trump sits in the Oval Office, invites the press in, and signs a bunch of cockamamie fucking executive orders that are challenged in court because they're illegal. They are anti-law executive orders. But that gets him on TV. Remember during COVID where he came on TV literally every day? It was the COVID show. We're going to watch the COVID show every day. And we all tuned in. I did anyway, to find out what's going on late. What's the latest with the COVID show? He lied to us during those things. He said things that weren't true. He said 1,000 things that were just fucking stupid. But he liked that. It made him feel good to go in front of the camera every single day, because that's what he wants. He wants to be a live streamer. He doesn't want to be making decisions. He doesn't want to be signing executive orders. He wants to be a live streamer. Most people in Congress do actually just want to be live streamers. And then President Musk says the judges should be impeached. Yeah, exactly. I would rather impeach, let's impeach Musk. It should be easy since he wasn't voted for. But he wants the judges to be impeached because that's how fair and balanced works. That's how the separation of powers works. They're not three co-equal branches, according to Elon Musk and Donald Trump. Donald Trump gets to do whatever he wants. And if you stand in his way, you're being unbalanced. You are being against the check. It's to check Donald Trump is to uncheck the checks and balances. It makes a lot of sense if you don't think about it. I missed the bleach injection this morning. Yeah, you didn't get yours today. The Democrats can't impeach Musk because that would be racist since he's African American. Shit. Step in my shower. I see where you're going with this, but Trump canceled DEI, remember? Trump canceled cancels. Trump canceled cancel culture and disregarded the DEI, which means we can impeach African Americans now. They've shot themselves in the foot this time. What's coming? What's the future look like? Every day we're going to get more and more and more wacky Trump executive orders that are going to disagree with his previous executive orders. You know, we already saw that with the Tuskegee Airmen. That was only like 2 weeks ago. I know that it seems like a million billion years ago, but about 2 weeks ago, they canceled DEI. And then the Air Force said, okay, we won't discuss the black pilots anymore. And then they said, no, not like that. We like the black pilots. Let's keep talking about that. So they have to undo the things they did. Chaos. That's what we got with the nuclear workers earlier today. They fired all the nuclear workers and then said, oh God, what have we done? Rehire the nuclear workers. This flippy floppy is going to continue. And it's going to continue. One, because they don't know what they're doing. Two, because they are chaos. Three, their fans are stupid. The MAGA faithful are very, very, very dumb. They are uninformed, misinformed, disinformed, and their faces are poorly formed. I can say that. What are you going to do? Cancel me? We canceled cancel culture like we just discussed. So they will feel whatever they want to feel. If Donald Trump tells them that he got rid of inflation, they'll just believe it. Doesn't have to be true. Doesn't matter what the numbers say. Doesn't matter that the economists say that inflation's at 5%. Donald Trump will simply look into the camera and tell them he killed inflation. He found where it lived and he slayed it. He sent SEAL Team 6 to the lair of inflation and killed inflation. And they will simply tell me in the comments, they'll come into my YouTube comment section and tell me that Donald Trump killed inflation. Won't matter if it's true or not. Won't matter that it isn't factually correct. They'll just say it. And they will feel better about inflation. Then when the high prices come in, those are patriot prices, you see? Those are patriot prices. If you pay $8 for eggs, that's patriotism. It's strong America flag, Trader Todd, exactly right, American flag, U.S. flag, USA, 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 to simply pay the patriot price. Freedom isn't free. We got to pay $8 for eggs to kill inflation. It doesn't matter what's real. It doesn't matter what's true. They will feel whatever they want, and they will feel whatever Donald Trump tells them to feel. He will lie to them blatantly, and they will accept it because they want to believe. There are three kinds of MAGA followers. One is the con men. Donald Trump, Elon, Zuckerberg, J.D. Vance, Peter Thiel. These are the con men who lie for money. Great. Second type are the hopeful believers. These are the people who want those things to be true. They know that the evidence is against them, and they tune that out. They don't look at the left. They don't look at the people who disagree with them, and they kind of put they put on their conservative blind spot. They put on their blind spot. So this is the second type of Trump supporter. They put on the blind spot and they're like, no, I'm not going to look at it. I'm just going to trust what he says. Everything is fine. Trickle-down economics works. The stock market is real. My Trump coin is going to go up to the moon any minute now. As long as I hodl and have diamond hands, my GameStop stock will also go to infinity, to the moon. My Dogecoin is really going to turn around if I just hold on. This is the hopeful believer. They believe Donald Trump, not because they think that he's true, but because they believe that he can lead them to a place where it is true. He will lead us to a world where Trump coin is the official coin of the realm. They will, or Trump will pardon the Hawk-Tuah girl for her scams. Yeah, because that Hawk-Tuah coin will be valuable someday. They've put on their blind spot. They will not, and they don't like it when somebody like Waldo argues with them. They believe because they benefit from those beliefs. And if those beliefs come true, they will benefit the most. And then you have the third type, which is the ignorant believer who just believes because they're uninformed, they're not paying attention. Donald Trump said he did the thing, so he did the thing. Donald Trump said he murdered inflation, so he murdered inflation. It's true because he said it. And when Elon comes into the Oval Office and tells them he found billions and billions of dollars in fraud, they simply accept it. That's what bothers me the most, is Elon comes out there with no evidence and says, I found billions of fraud. Okay, where? Name some. Bring the paperwork. Bring the receipts. Bring the documents. You don't have any? Then you're making it up. Big accusations require big evidence. Strong accusations require strong evidence. If you say that there's billions of dollars being stolen, bring evidence. They won't. They never will. They don't need evidence. Evidence doesn't matter. The accusation is what matters, because those ignorant faithful, MAGA people, the ignorant faithful, will simply accept it at face value. When Trump tells them he found billions in savings, they'll accept it. Even if it never happened, he never did any of it. If he could say he cut taxes for for 1 trillion people, and they'll just simply accept it. You don't need reality. That's not important. The Trump cycle caused a problem to happen, then claim to fix it and take all the credit. Yeah, he is doing that for sure. I think he's got a 3-step combo. He does the Trump 3-step: misunderstand, delusion, fear. I've been talking about it for a while. I think that I've distilled down his 3 steps: misunderstand, create a delusion, spread fear, or spread fun, or spread victory. Spread the fanfare if you take the credit for solving it. He misunderstands asylum. He misunderstands what political asylum means, and so he misunderstands it, that South America was sending their insane asylum people to the border. He misunderstands. So he creates a delusion. So he tells you that he talked to a guy who was in South America and released all of their insane patients to the American border. There is no evidence of this. No one has found anyone who has ever said that this happened. He created a delusion, and then he spreads the fear. MDF every single time. Misunderstand, delusion, fear. He's doing it with Doge right now. Just this week, he said there are 150-year-olds receiving Social Security. He misunderstands how the system works. He does not understand that that is an internal system that creates red flags, so that when you see it, you won't pay it. He misunderstands the system. He creates a delusion that there are liars out there pretending to be 150-year-olds getting your tax dollars through Social Security. So he misunderstands, he creates a delusion, and then he spreads that fear. Misunderstand Social Security, create a delusion of people stealing from it with no evidence, spread the fear. The aliens from Mars are flooding the U.S. with fentanyl. Trump's plan is to nuke Mars. Yeah, exactly. Misunderstand fentanyl, why it's coming, how it's getting here. Fentanyl is another misunderstanding of his. He thinks that people are just sneaking across an undefended border to bring fentanyl in. He's wrong. He misunderstands. Most of the fentanyl is brought in by American citizens through a port of entry. Building a wall will not stop that. Building a wall will not stop Americans from driving with their IDs into Mexico, taking the fentanyl, driving through back up to where they live in America, and then giving it to drug dealers. The wall will not stop that, but he doesn't understand that. He misunderstands. He creates a delusion of people backpacking with backpacks filled with drugs across a border through the desert when no one's looking. And he spreads fear about that. That's his 3 steps every single time. The aliens, yeah, and they're doing that about the government. He doesn't understand what the nuclear people are doing, what the Department of Energy is doing. He doesn't understand what the Department of Education is doing. He doesn't understand what the complicated parts of the government are doing. So he creates a delusion about them being crooked, about them being wrong, about them being stealing from people, and then he spreads that fear to the people. Doctors overprescribing fentanyl is a big part of the problem. Well, they weren't prescribing the fentanyl; they were prescribing the opioids. Fentanyl is a synthetic opioid, but again, like we were talking about way back about the poppies and the fields in Afghanistan, American drug manufacturers needed opioids to make money, so they overprescribed the opioids so that they could make more money, and they needed the opium to come from Afghanistan, which we were invading and stealing all their stuff, and our American troops were guarding the opium poppy fields. That poppy field being guarded by Americans in Afghanistan sold all of its poppy to American drug dealers, who then over prescribed it, getting people addicted because it's an addictive chemical and they want to sell more of it. And now in once the problem pops up with the opioid crisis, the Congress says, hey, no more opium. We all turn to fentanyl to get high. It's bad and it's stupid. They could prescribe CBD and it's not as profitable. Yeah, and I think that would be fine. I think that's a good idea. But that's weed and that's stoners. And have you ever been typed 420 into Google? Okay, we can't let America look like that, according to Republicans, of course. Old 90-year-old Republicans saw a 420 sticker one time and said, I can't let America turn into that. They misunderstand. They spread a delusion. Well, they create a delusion in their heads, and then they spread fear. That is the 3-step Trump combo. That is it for me today. I appreciate everybody who's here. Thank you very much. Thanks for coming in, everybody. Be sure to tell Shinsinto happy birthday again. Make sure that we all remember that it is his birthday today and not any other day. You're in Canada, so it's 100% legal and it's absolutely not a problem. And I know. And I'm in Washington, so I know it's not a problem. But they're scared of it. They're terrified. They misunderstand it. They create the delusion of it being a gateway drug. Then they spread the fear that it'll rot your kids and kill everybody. Thanks for being here at the step in my shower. Thanks for coming. Feel free, anybody who's watching or paying attention, to hop over to the Discord. Tell me what you're thinking. Tell me what you're feeling. Leave links with stories that you want to talk about. If you think that there's something important that you would like to discuss, leave a link in the link part of Discord, and we can talk about it. If you want to just look at cool Bobo photos, you can do that there as well. There's an entire channel of those. Go on over to the YouTube page, because I turn all of these fun streams into smaller, littler, specific YouTube videos. Go on over there, give those a watch. If you want to talk about a specific subject, you can probably find it on there. I've talked about literally everything political, I think, that exists. So go on over there and talk about that, and leave a like, leave a subscribe, leave a comment, and all that fun stuff. When I get to 250 subscribers on YouTube, the Saturday after that, I'm just going to celebrate, I suppose. 250 is a big number for me. I'm at 239 right now, but if I get to 250, I'm just going to play Castlevania Symphony of the Night the entire way through as a celebration, because that makes me feel good. JD Vance will be your president in 2028. I hope not, Uber Daddy. That sounds like a terrible idea. That sounds like a bad time. He is a fascist, and he supported the AfD, which are Nazis. So he wants to take down the firewall that prevents Nazis from being elected in Germany. That's a bad idea. The Uber Daddy, I'm wrapping up right now, but feel free to watch over the stuff. Go to that YouTube page right there. Check out some of my old videos and tell me what you're thinking. Tell me what you're feeling. That is it for me today. I am all done with stream. I am wrapping it up right now. I will be back on Wednesday night, 7 o'clock, unless the Gestapo kicks in my door and drags me off to the gulag, which might happen. If J.D. Vance does become president, it is more likely that the Gestapo will stomp in my door and drag me off to the gulag. So if that happens, I won't be on stream Wednesday night. Make Guyliner great again. Yeah, there you go.